One more opportunity. See players in their natural habitat. Nothing. Spectacular scenes here at the Esports World Cup.
Je suis prêt, c'est parti, voir où m'emmène la vie. Comme sur mon green, tu m'entends quand je respire. Top le veston, jamais dit, jamais fait une trop pas big plan, j'ai fait changer toute la piste. Regarde ma pêche, pour ce pas j'attire. Je coupe la line, laisse la qui laisse frémir. Nouvelle état, new name, toujours fluide dans le move. Main en l'air quand je rentre dans le groove. Garde ce regard, je suis déjà posé. Deux pas de tourne, glace dans mes yeux figés. Vite encore, puis je prends tout ce qui est à moi. Trop vite, trop fort.
And Ludi, it is day 3 of PUBG Battlegrounds, and today is all about this. I have the title defender, Twisted Mind's Key.
Pretty nice.
8 of these are going to be crushed today.
Yeah, today it's definitely do or die. Like, you have only 6 games now, and you can just take your place in the final and have your spot with one big games. Nobody is kind of safe, and there is 2 millions at the end.
Absolutely. Have you seen this too?
Yeah,
they're like really, they're pretty heavy,
cool.
and they're honestly really cool.
Oh, look at that. There's someone who's looking for you.
What do you know? I think he's coming. Okay. Stay down, Ludi.
No.
Day 3. Protect the key. Let's get into it.
Allez-moi! Allez-moi!
Today will be the day that we end up finding out which teams are going to be going to the finals. Welcome back to the PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26. And it looks like I woke up on the right side of the bed because this is what it feels like to be tall.
Welcome, my friend.
There you go. I'm your studio host, the 7WG, joined by none other than Toppies and Godspeed. Boys, today we'll find out which teams have done enough to go to the finals and which teams will get their keys crushed.
Exactly. I mean, this is that moment where rubber meets road, right? It's the drops have been played out. We know where people are going. We know what teams have to do to advance. And honestly, that's where the stress starts to hit. These guys prepared all night, and they're ready to jump today.
I mean, you want to talk about the drops and all that. Forget about that. We have some big teams coming in with so many points that can absolutely just ruin the dreams of some of these teams that are currently on the chase.
We've been enjoying the outside so much that we wanted to go ahead and just switch it up as we're just getting absolutely splashed by the fountain here. And while we're doing this, you know what? While we're getting splashed, why don't you guys take a look at what happened yesterday in this STC rewind?
Yeah.
Today is not the day to be lifting the trophy. It's about proving that you belong in the West.
Oh my God! Another one that's in a different position.
Yesterday, Group A had their final shot at making the finals, and Virtus Pro stepped up to the challenge.
Just go, fuck it.
An outrageous 17
teams below them, they've essentially got 5, because I'm going to throw R8 in there, right? R8's playing today.
It's hard to say that RA would have like an.
They're coming in with 10 points.
Yeah.
So that's 6 games, 10 points. I'm sorry. So that's only 2 teams you have to worry about, in terms of getting past you in that race today.
And for a lot of those teams, just a heads up, you can see right now in the overall that Myth is in first place with 79 points. They were absolutely stunning. So as you guys start talking about for that 16 cutoff, if those teams, we'll get a chance to talk this a little bit more later, but if they end up performing well too, it's going to sponge up so many more points, Godspeed.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So talking and bouncing off what Toffees was saying is Full Sense is just 1 point under AJL, right? Which 61 and 60. Last year's cutoff was 63 points. So with these big heavy hitters, specifically, I'm actually looking at T1 and 4AM. Now, the reason why I mentioned it yesterday, T1 has been kind of bullying 4AM when it comes to PGS, right? In the PGS circuit. And the problem is they're going to be in this very same lobby. Now, T1, 43 points in their first day, not bad, obviously quite good. 4AM struggled a bit more with 32, and they're going to have to face off against those rotations. And I think, at least for 4AM, if we're talking about them, even though Windot had an amazing day.
But he was the only one.
He was the only one, exactly. And I think that's going to be the struggle, Steve.
Well, it almost goes the same way, though. When I talk about T1, it was Heather that was popping off yesterday, right?
Heather,
He was haunting the dreams of the Falcons and will for the rest of his life. But I think that's what it's going to come down to. Which of these 2 teams has the rest of their players step up, grab the torch, and say, this is a team event, not a solo event. And whichever one of those makes the push, I think has that chance to go the distance. Both fabled rosters, both legendary in their regions, both underperforming, and I think that's the story there with those 2 is which one jumps up, which one steps up, and which one has to deal with maybe hot drops later today.
And I'm hoping we continue to see some of those plays that we have seen with the BRDM, or as I like to call it, and I'm really trying to make this thing, the splat maker, because we saw that perfectly happen yesterday.
Get this thing out of here, man.
Come on, guys, but it has to catch on a little bit. But as we're moving on here from the overall, we got our Sony stories of the day, which honestly, for this squads, I'm going to be looking at none other than Full Sense, the reigning global champions, and 4AM, because we were expecting a little bit more out of these 2 squads, and they have put themselves. For Full Sense, you're not going to be able to play today, but for 4AM, you're going to have to give it your all.
And again, I think their biggest issue will probably be T1 if they do happen to run into the same rotations. But outside of that, I think 4AM did show. First of all, 4AM's been a much better team this year than we've seen in a while, Steve, right? I mean, we've seen over the past, even Godvi tried to make his return. It really didn't work out. That roster kind of struggled. I think this is going to be 4AM's best roster coming into this year, coming into this event to actually make a qualification. And if they don't run into T1 much, then the problem is they're going to have to worry about Myth. They're going to have to worry about Twisted Minds. They're going to have to worry about Gam. Gam had a 50-point first day.
And I think if you talk about 4AM versus Full Sense, 4AM's at 32 points coming into their next 6 games. Full Sense finished at 60 after 12. So theoretically, 4AM is ahead. If they do the exact same thing they did on day 1, they end at 64, which actually will put them ahead of their competitors Full Sense and AGAL and qualify them. The problem is you can't build a strategy around a consistent 32. You know what I mean? So they have a tall order. They can't guarantee they get 1 or 2 good games this time. So I think that's going to be a stressful moment for them. I do think that the biggest beneficiary of this entire thing is AGAL. Full Sense dropped that ball just a little bit yesterday. They only got that 60, which puts them 1 point below. And I genuinely believe there is a really high chance that cutoff is right between those 2 teams.
I think you're right. I think the cutoff is going to be between 60 and 65. That may be the highest again because we have such big sponges. You and I got to talk about something else, and it's our region. Falcons, Liquid, both have. I mean, Falcons kind of really turned it up at the end of yesterday. Liquid, for the most part, even though they kind of stumbled in the middle, they still had a pretty decent day overall, but they both need to get over the 60-point mark.
I mean, you are the shirt, right? This is NPL that's from these guys' era. It's 7-8 years ago now. All but one player from both of those teams have been playing since that time period. And so they know that they have the ability, the experience, the veteran status to be able to handle the pressure today. But to be in a position, that's our region, where we're sitting here going, oh my gosh, I hope they make it, is not a stress that I am used to or enjoying very much.
And moving from that, teams that are not going to be feeling that pressure today, the teams that could possibly end up just doing a lot of sponge points, just taking a lot of points from these squads that actually need them, I'm going to be looking at Myth, because it took a long time for, I believe it was VP to even pass Myth, and they were able to play all their 12 matches. Another squad within that range It's going to be vicious. They're going to be playing today. They were one of the best performing squads yesterday. And we also have Twisted Minds. There's just so many squads that can sponge ball. And I know, Godspeed, earlier you were saying 60, 65 points. But honestly, Toffees, it could end up being even lower than that.
It could. It could. So let's jump off with myth, right?
Yeah.
Historically, a myth is something that exists only within a certain group. When you exceed past the myth, you become a legend. And that's what these guys are doing right now. The fact that they have played half the games of the rest of the lobby and only one team of those 8 that played yesterday was able to pass them. Only Virtus Pro passed them. They stand in second with 6 games. That means they have no pressure. They're already qualified, and they have 6 games to do whatever they want. Everyone else is going to explore defensiveness. That means they're going to rack up points and, yes, maybe drive that qualifier down to 60 points.
You know what this reminds me of, Steve?
What?
Rock. Last year, group stages, they cleared over 100 points.
True.
And that's the danger here. Myth, when you have a team that's so confident coming out of the group stages, going into the last day, knowing that they're already qualified, that is a nightmare for every other team involved. And again, it's that confidence that we're talking about. It's going to be the lack of confidence as we go on through the games that you're going to see in every other team that is not Myth or already qualified in that top spot. That's a beautiful bird, by the way.
Now, if we're talking about violence, right? If we're talking about a team coming out to cause problems, Myth will do that. They want to break 100. It applies to their legend status,
they will break
right?
100, yeah.
Another team, you brought up the Vicious. The Vicious is a team that came out yesterday and was like, hey, you guys forgot about us? Not anymore. And they played out of their minds. They took some endgame fights. They played aggressive. They weren't afraid of pushing 1-2s.
Not at all.
And so I really respect the points they put up yesterday. And at 45, if they have a day the same, easy qualification. But because they know that, they're going to be more aggressive out of the gate and probably get even higher.
Remember, they have Tycon, right? That roster is really disgusting. Tycon burst onto the scene. Basically, immediately we knew that he was going to be someone to watch. And now that he has this roster of Sapao, YM Kood, we've seen him so much experience, and Sir T, this is a very dangerous roster. But again, it all comes down to how much confidence will they bring into this day. They played yesterday, but again, because of the teams at the top, that may put a lot more pressure on them.
Now, I want to mention this because we're talking about teams that had 6 games and may change the way the game is played. Twisted Minds, still in the hunt, right? They're currently in 4th place with only 6 games played. And rumor on the streets is Lou is back. He landed last night late. Will they give him a rest? Will they play him? The question is out, but we know that he is now in Paris. Imagine that, a team that is that good, 4th after 6 games, down a player using a sub, and now they don't have to.
But there's something to be said. Do they just let the tab finish it out, who's obviously played just fine, or do they try to let him rest, or do they try to let him get in to get games to practice for the grand finals? Because Twisted is going to the grand finals, so that, I mean, either way, I don't think there's a wrong decision, especially coming in so late, being tired, exhausted. Yes, you want to get the practice in, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're ready for the finals.
You can't have a masterclass without the professor. Lou's in town. The professor's ready to play. I think they're going to put him in. I think they're going to start him, and I think they're going to show us. I mean, they're going to go out there and be like, we want to outprove Myth. Like, they want to believe, they want to show. Defending EWC champions, looking for a PGC down the line, best team in the world at the moment. In my opinion, I think they're going to come out hard.
Yeah, and when we saw Myth, we got to talk about player performances because we ended up being able to put up a great performance. Other players from the squad as well. Yesterday, one performance that we need to point out that happened at the end of the day has to be Falcons, because Tig, I mean, he ended up popping off. They ended up with 12 eliminations, but that performance out of Tig sparked Falcons to not feel so much pressure coming into day 3.
Yeah, well, I think Tig and Gustav for the last 2 live, the total accumulated kills of 12 plus just from the 2 of them alone, right? And here's the thing with the Falcons. You and I have been watching this team, I mean, minus Gustav, but we've also been watching Gustav for so many years. This is kind of what happens if they don't start hot. It takes them a few games just to figure things out, but by the end of it, that's why when you asked me yesterday, hey, are you worried about the Falcons? Steve and I both kind of echoed, not really. They'll kind of figure it out by the end, but now it's crunch time. We have seen, even though they kind of right the ship midway through a qualifier, that they're not always guaranteed to finish strong, and I hope, and I feel like they will, but you never know.
I feel good about it. I talked to Gunnar this morning because there was sort of a rumor about a change of calling yesterday, the IGL situation, and he said, yeah, Gustav has joined Kickstart in the IGL role. He said Kickstart's one of the smartest players in the world. His micro is incredible in terms of calls. We wanted to add Gustav's macro knowledge so they can kind of share the early stage of the game and give Kickstart the support to just kind of cut loose when he needs to. Having that secondary IGL to make sure that everything runs smoothly is, I think, a really good decision. So yesterday, I think they were getting those feet under them a little bit. They've been doing this for a couple of weeks now.
And it's hard to do dual IGL, by the way.
Especially when you have, yesterday they got some bad luck. They got PUBG'd, if you know what I mean. And that happens. They bounced back. The last game,
the head of BRDM comes to mind. Yes,
PUBG happens. It does. And so they bounced back. They kept the right mentality. I actually am not worried about them today.
I'm not either.
I'm not going to be worried about them anymore. I was trying to wave a red flag. That's not going to happen. One team that is sitting clearly, comfortably with 45 points is none other than Navi, and I believe Kalaris has an interview with them.
Hey, Claris here at the Esports World Cup for PUBG Battlegrounds. And of course, I've got Alrain here with me for their second day of games in the group stage. So thank you very much for joining me here, Alrain. Let's get with our first question. Obviously, you guys started things off on your day one with 44 points so far. Do you feel like that was enough of a performance here so far? What was your kind of outlook on those games as a whole? And do you think you're going to be able to carry that through into your second day?
Yeah, we had a rough day yesterday. We played 5 hard games, but the last one was our own. The circles were in our favor, so we just secured the win, and the situation, the leaderboard just got better. And today we need some kind of 20 points. We still are not there yet, so we need to be focused. We need to perform to the best we can. So I don't want our boys to be like on the edge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nobody wants to be on the edge. It is tough here for some of these teams, of course, that haven't had the best of day number ones. Let's talk about kind of bigger picture things, because I think like a lot of players and fans look at Boostic and Hakatori as the guys that kind of really shine on the roster, and obviously they're amazing fraggers. But when I look at kind of how Ferris is able to do in some recent tournaments, as well as obviously kind of taking charge for the team, it's always great to see him kind of developing as a player as well. So where do you think Ferris is at right now here and for EWC?
Yeah, definitely. We have some roles changes after PGS, so Ferris is adapting times right now with figuring out how to make everything work, but he's doing good. He's adapting, and I think the more we play, he can get better and better until the finals.
Can you elaborate on those role changes, or do you want to keep that secret for now?
No, like IGL is a Spyro right now. He's taking the charge of the game, and Ferris is taking the second caller role. Yeah, something like this, yeah.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Team Nemesis.
Sharper Esports.
Team Liquid.
Myth.
Your reigning club champions, Team Falcons.
And finally, your defending champions of EWC, Twisted Mind! This is it. Our teams are locked in and ready to fight for 6 more games of group stage, while the A team of Group A just waiting and discover the destiny.
That's right. We don't have to emphasize the importance of the next 6 maps. Our players know exactly what to do. They have been here before. Thousands of hours played, no stone left unturned, and the best teams in the world ready to go toe-to-toe. So it is time to close out the group stage of PUBG Battlegrounds at the Esports World Cup.
In Group B, I'm going to go with Twisted Minds as our biggest rival.
Probably say 17. They've been the most consistent team. Navi's also been very good.
워낙 좋은 퍼포먼스를 많이 보여준 좀 슈퍼스타 선수들이 많아서 미스가 가장 라이벌이라고 생각합니다.
Blues are behind it. No options, no cover. Gets the headshot. It's dicey between the two. Peeking back and forth.
虽然说 Tastman 呢是上届 EWC 的冠军，但是我们面对他们，我们还是很有信心的。我们队伍不惧怕任何队，我们遇到了之后都会全力以赴。I don't want to fight Navi because they got Hackatory. That guy's built different. He's very scary, very good at the game.
There's no one that I'm scared of or like don't want to fight, you know? We're them. We're gonna win. We're the best.
这个小组也没有我们想打的队伍，因为这个小组比较均衡。
Honestly, it doesn't matter for us. We're just ready to fight everyone.
Welcome, everybody, to the final day of group stages. There are some teams that have a lot left on the line to fight for, but they also have to get by Myth, where we are going to write the next chapter in what has already been an impressive 2026 for that squad.
Yeah, for sure. And again, my big question here, are they going to absolutely send it, break last year's record, go for that triple digits, take all the points away, soak up everything that is possible, and make it even harder for the other teams trying to get into that big final? Of course, we're going to be sending 8 teams home. We're going to be crushing 8 teams' dreams today here. And yeah, sure, some teams are not playing. I think right now you could say Petrico Road is definitely not making it. Tyloo with 43 points is not making it. But Supers with 53, I think, unfortunately, they're not making it. I think the cutoff is going to be around that 55-point mark.
It's going to be the question all day long, and it's really going to depend on those teams that have already seen great success, like Myth, like Twisted Minds, Falcons, who kind of showed up yesterday, like Liquid, who had a very impressive day one. So it really so much kind of leaning on the results of this first map. Will those teams that have already found success continue to find success here in day number 3? But we are in the plane. We are ready to go, and we are starting things off on Erangel.
Yep, we're going to have 2 Erangels today, 2 Takos, 1 Rondo, and 1 Miramar. And yeah, that's the teams that's coming in. Very impressed with, of course, Twisted Minds and Made in Thailand. That's already above that threshold, far and beyond. And yeah, they can come out and farm a lot here. And the big name coming back for Lou for Twisted Minds, even though the Tab had an amazing performance in their day, he's going to be coming back, and that's a big name to put in the server.
Never forget the Tab double kill through the smokes. He's going to put that on his already impressive highlight reel of times where he's unfortunately had to fill in for one of his teammates, but they are banging on all cylinders to start things off here today, and that is terrifying news for everybody left in the lobby. You see all the faces of all the players. A lot of stress on some of those players, but some of those faces look a little bit more calm. See how it plays out here now that the plane is in the air. The drops are coming through, and we'll see if anybody drops close to each other. They've managed to avoid it for the most part these first 2 days, any early game shenanigans.
Yeah, Severny and Novo here, playing path from the north to the southeast. A little bit difficult for some of the teams to get to the western side. Here's a long stretch. The team's going to be having to go close for that, so let's see what ends up happening here. There might be some contests for cars and so forth, so it's going to be definitely interesting. And also with the circle, like the plane path with like this here, we could end up getting some crazy circles, either all the way up north or southeast with like a 50-50 circle. At least that's what the tendencies has been with these plane paths here, Paul.
Feels like we managed to duck Military Island for the most part.
You say so.
So far, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But there you go. Hard north. As you said, another hard shift coming in once again. Well, Gen G right there on the south side around Razak, and we did get a chance to sit down and speak with Soul about his tournament so far.
저희는 에란겔에서 그룹마다 좀 다르게 떨어지는데 뭐 그 이유는 일단 파이널에 올라가기 위해서고 저희가 하는 모든 행동 하나하나는
to having be playing 12 games, and with former PGC winners on that roster, that's just so unfortunate. I don't know if it's the demise of missing out on having a player like Ike left on the team, or them not being prepared. You saw in the interview with him, they were absolutely not worried about fighting anyone. Not had the chance to do much of that so far. Now Myth coming in, and that's a team you want to avoid. Thunders finds Parkrow here as Sharpers gets involved with Geeke.
Geeke, we saw them run into R8 a little bit earlier, but Sharper proven to be a little bit of a tougher opponent as Tanawat will continue to make his way around.
Oh.
Yeah, secure that point. 2 now collected for Sharper as Thunders will have to retreat. Getting sprayed down here by the remaining angry members of Geeke. But Geeke now having to play that forward as a duo.
It's a bit unfortunate, yeah, for sure. Especially it's not a high priority position with the current first, so now sure you can hide your cars a little, but it's more of a waiting spot more than anything. And that shelf just above them. Sure, they're going to have enough meds with that station, but sure, I don't think you can really see them unless the circle moves away from them. They're going to be able to take the compound where R8 is at for the recalls. I don't really see them getting them 2 back. So let's see what happens now on screen with 17. Yesterday, in my book, 23 points. Having that central drop spots is just not good enough for a team of this caliber here, Pauro.
No, very high expectations been placed on this squad, and deservedly so. I mean, they're RA PGS winner so far this year, and it has just been slow start, 23 points, as you said, but this is, again, one of those teams that has that reputation that if they get things going their way, they can put up an incredible amount of points. I wouldn't be surprised to see them put myth levels of points up in one day should they get the ball rolling, but it's going to all depend on this first game here. See if they can start finding their way. Check in with Gam on that northern coast, pulling in on that western side of a very wide split Team Liquid right now. We'll see what Party Cardi decides to do as he sees this approaching squad.
Well, the red zone here, it actually drop dead center onto Elo's location here. They're going to lock down that compound just above that ridge west of Servanary. It's actually a really strong spot. It's very breachable when the team's coming in on either side of the ridges, but as a phase 2 spot for a location here, that is massive for them. I wonder if they're
Halo and Cowboy, as Salute and Soul will push in, trying to find some heads peeking. You're not going to find them in time. Team Liquid will wipe out Gen G.
Extremely well executed here for Team Liquid. I may have said if we have a good game one, we might be making moves here in the next one. It's a pull-up from RA. Teddy's coming in here. Cowboy's active. M249, he jumps in. Teddy gets Cowboy. Huge play here from him. Aimbot finds Halo. Now it's just down to Purdy Curdy.
And R8, this is about their third revive at this point. Empty just hit the ground, but he is now knocked once again as Purdy Curdy finds himself the last remaining player for Team Liquid. Hitting all those crates, see if he's got any more utility, but you see the shots coming in from range, but nice. Heimbot will take him down, and R8 just refused to die.
We might have to call them recall 8, the amount of times they've been called back into this game here, multiple, and that's them being able to survive. It's just insane. Now shots coming in here sharper as well. They need these points here. They need to extend and put on points with the board here. 31 points, 19th place power. That's going to be rough considering how far this next circle shifted, and all the teams in the northern side are going to have to fight for just the little space that's left alive.
Yeah, they do have a lot of work to do, but as you mentioned, the circle cutting south once again. So let's not forget about Navi and T1, who had great positions on that hillside, have not seen anybody. Nobody has managed to wrap so far as to get into their area of control.
Right.
And the Falcons, meanwhile, they've sent it towards the center. They find a great center position. So they're just vibing right now for the foreseeable future as everybody is fighting their way out of shooting range. JDG, grenades will be thrown over there, but they're not going to find the mark.
Shen takes so much damage. 9 HP. Spaceman's been found as well. The last hope alive for 4 AM. They're going to have to make moves. So many teams are trying to get in here. JDG's holding off. Myth is fighting them. Meanwhile, R8, 17, and Nemesis have a huge brawl, and T1 is third-partying everything from the high ground. Sharper is out in 11th place.
17's been doing so much work from these fields. They managed to find yet another team flush, up to 9 kills, and now their attention is fully on Nemesis. But you see the third-party shots from T1 causing 17 problems. Melman will throw the cool guys don't look at explosions grenade, fade away, run back, play the wall. They do know that they have to keep an eye on that wall down from R8's perspective, but R8 now eliminated. So Nemesis down to 2 will just be fighting through as Twisted Minds are right in front of them.
Yeah, Nemesis, all these sudden shifts here makes it so hard for them. And they're that last team to go out before the placement points drop. Top 8 teams, and JDG, what a great hold for them to be on the edges and riches of this high ground. Now they're pushing up. They have cover to play with as well. They're going to be the last team to come in from the north. But T1 is moving in for the third party. They want points as well.
JDG farming right now. As you mentioned, that ridge line proving so huge as nobody from the high ground can see them. But T1, they want a piece of it. They're going to come down. They'll spot out December 12th. Nice shots from Heather will take him down from range. As now T1 will find 2. Will find 3. Cold 119. The last player left alive for JDG.
5 kills for him so far. Can he defend this? He cannot. JDG goes out in 7th place, and T1 with the aggressive push paid off, but Myth is coming out to feast.
Beautiful work from T1, but as you mentioned, Myth now trying to take advantage, but can they spot them out in time? Raining the only one knock so far. Heather has the near side, runs out of bullets, has to swap guns, spots out Jacob at the tree, will force him away. Doesn't get the knock, but at least pulls them away long enough to where maybe Type can get that res onto Raining.
Yeah, even with the 8 kills that T1 have in the top 5, this is a great game for them. They're pushing the lead even further, 54 points. Welcome to the finals, guys. This is your ticket. This is your game. And now they can make life hard for everyone else. Myth now on their approach to get into this northeastern side of this new circle, but Falcons can set up a perfect hold on that in all their foxholes. They've got cover. They've got everything to play with. T1 saw that, and they're disengaging to go around on the western side. That's a massive play for them. So smart, so coherent. Meanwhile, Navi has been holding that central location, central compound. They've got all the information.
Yeah, Navi has just kind of been watching this game play out in the kill feed. They haven't really seen much of anything. They've been holding up on the high ground for so long, but nice flanking angle here from T1 as they'll collect their 9th kill That one's going to be on to Gustav, but they will lose type in the process as now Na'Vi has started to flex out. They're starting to find more angles. Myth trying to push their way into Falcons, but they're getting pressed by Na'Vi still as well.
It's difficult even with all the Doritos on board and all the vehicles.
Oh, look at T1.
Hard time. T1 saw the knocks. They saw that they were losing players. Kickstart is low. That nade might be right in his foxhole. What a great nade. 58 damage. He's going to have to duck and weave out of that. He might go down with just a few more utilities being thrown in his direction.
A vehicle about to explode as well, and he will go down to the vehicle explosion and foul.
Here we go.
We'll see how aggressive they decide to be here in this late game. Heather in the end trying to wrap around, but Na'Vi is already ready. They'll find one. Hacktor will take down Ian. Heather will try to return the spray. 1,100 damage for Heather so far to go along with his 7 kills.
Able to get it. Heathers gets found. Shots coming in. EJ just with the close drives. And EJ gets found for Na'Vi. They get the chicken dinner here. They're basically back-to-back from yesterday.
I mean, you know what? Na'Vi didn't really play a whole lot this game, but when they got to the end, they did what they had to do, secure those wins. I mean, if Na'Vi was sitting on 35 points coming into today, maybe they get a little bit more aggressive, but the difference is they were sitting on almost 50. So, you know, get your 10, secure your 10 points, do what you got to do. At the end of the day, that's all you really need. They're up to 57 now.
Yeah, they had 44 points going into this game. They didn't feel like they were qualified, so played safe, played secure, and get that double digit.
It's just smart.
Yeah, it's just smart. But now, Toro, in the last games, I want to see them play the way that we love to see them play, that aggressive play. And Hackator, sure, they got a few kills here and there. The EM kill and the EJ one, putting them to 3 kills, but still a second place clutch from EJ to get 3 kills. That's 9 points for Geeky in a game that did not expect to get the more out of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 3 points picked up along with the second place. That's well done there for Geeky. But gosh, the story of the game has to be T1, right? Like they came in and were just taking fights with just about everybody, and they were winning them, and they were winning them clean. And that is a scary T1. If they are coming in that kind of confidence, that's good news for them, especially now that you look at the leaderboard, they're probably thinking, okay, we're good for finals.
And it's a great perspective, right? Because they come in and they're like, okay, people are probably going to play a little bit scared in the first few games, so let's just go aggro. Let's just go for the fights. If we have space, if we can third party, we're going to do it. And these guys are so skilled.
They are
T1,
indeed.
man. And you've heard it. A lot of the interviews we heard throughout Esports World Cup here at PUBG Battlegrounds, honestly, most of the guys have talked about how T1 has been able to be so aggressive throughout the year, and they continue to do it here at the Qiddiya City Grid.
Well, that is game one taken down. We've got 5 more left to play, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Qiddiya City, powered by play.
A lot of people are haunted by their past. I'm inspired by it.
They're not just playing for themselves, they're really playing for their entire family.
They have defeated their demons. They have crushed the curse.
Week 3 of EWC 2026 is about to bring more rivalries, more hype, and more club championship points. Before PUBG Battlegrounds kicked off, Team Vitality sat second in the standings, hungry for more.
Vitality will be champion because Vitality has a lot of rosters in so many disciplines, and we're gonna try to play hard, and we're gonna try to be in highest Team Vitality in PUBG like Navi.
Lifting a trophy in MLBB at the Women's International in Week 2 was a statement from the French club. They are on home soil and are aiming for the top spot, just like the Vitality PUBG roster.
We're playing so many practice before EWC, and we're gonna playing screams and little tournaments in our discipline, and we're ready to be winning tonight.
Vitality are not the only ones with their eyes on the PUBG Battlegrounds trophy. Current club championship leaders Navi are also very serious title contenders.
Ми не звертаємо на це уваги насправді, тому що ми сфокусені на нашому результаті, на нашому EWC, тому ми не звертаємо уваги на це.
T1 has had mixed results in the club championship over previous years, but this time they're off to a better start.
클럽 포인트, 클럽 챔피언 포인트도 생각을 하면서 하고 있고, 저희도 잘하면 좋지만 이제 다른 팀들도 잘하면 좋기 때문에 다른 종목들도 응원하면서 좀 EWC를 좀 재밌게 즐기고 있는 것 같아요.
With 1,000 club championship points on the line, the PUBG Battlegrounds final results may bring a new leader or make Navi an even more powerful club championship contender.
It was none other than Navi putting up a masterclass, Toffees, in that finale.
I mean, I would 100% call it that. The way that Navi played that end game was beautiful. We saw that yesterday. We saw the end of the day and the discussion of champions mentality. What do you make the push? Do you save the points? They did both this time, Godspeed. Yeah. They flexed out to the left side. They sent 2 players to watch the T1 Falcons battle to make sure that if anything bad happened, they could go in and get some extra points. They didn't commit to it. They pulled them back immediately. They left Spyro up there to sort of guard the rear. It was just an absolutely beautiful play to how they executed that whole thing.
Yeah, and there was no need for them to really overextend, right? Because of the fact that they already had 48 points, I think, going into that. They didn't get a lot of kills, but they didn't need to get a lot of kills because the point is to just secure the win, make sure you make the 16, and that was, as you stated, that was a massive. It was perfect. It was just a perfect play. No overextension. That's what we want to see from them.
They were able to do that. So look at the match ranking right there. Even though they end up getting the win, as you mentioned, they didn't really have to get that many kills. One team that was able to get a lot of kills was none other than T1 with 14 lays.
Yeah, I mean, they had a cracker day yesterday as well. I've been obviously watching these closely, but again, to come out with that from day one is exactly what I expect from T1. Like, this aggressive play style needs to be honed in these particular matches. And, you know, we saw it from Heather. We saw some awesome plays from Heather yesterday, but now it seems like they've kind of made these a little bit more calculated than, I'm not going to say luck, but it was a bit questionable yesterday.
In my opinion, well, Navi wins T1 because they came out aggressive. They took the fight to the Falcons. They looked for points everywhere they could get them. And that's what we said. We need to see them make these moves as a team, and they stepped up and did it. And that's the exciting part. They were not scared to take any of these fights. They went head-to-head with the monsters in the lobby myth right after going head-to-head with the secondary Falcons, who are just sort of legendary across the scene. And then they face off whenever they need to. They're willing to take that fight with T1. They're GK. They're willing to sort of try to hold off Na'Vi. And I respect the tenacity they came in with today.
Yeah, and I think, again, the scary thing to talk about with T1 is 4AM, right? What happened to 4AM this game? I'm pretty sure they dropped the donut. And that's the threat. As they come in, we see that the
Oh, many a mystery person here down on the stage. But yes, that's right. I'm going to be with Matchroom this time here to talk about some of maybe the rivalries, some of these conflicts that are going on between some of the teams as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't start with good old T1, taking some fights left, right, and center.
Specifically, it feels like this event, T1 and Falcons have had some really bad blood where it's been T1 getting the better side, most notably Heather, as that's been the clip that's going around everywhere with the BRDM. But also, if we look historically, T1 has often rotated very similarly to Falcons and screwed them over.
Yeah, it extends even further than that, right? T1 obviously in PGS has had that with 4AM a lot, and we saw that really come to a head where they got that second place against Myth down the line in that PGS. So I was looking forward to maybe some T1 and 4AM action today.
Whenever we think about international rivalries, it's weird because we don't have a lot of them, but the ones that we do have seem like they focus around Falcons a lot, because there was the Falcons and 17 off hot drops for the center of the map. And then whenever we look at like EWC itself, of course, it's Falcons that have won EWC historically and Twisted that's won EWC. So it all seems to be everybody hates Falcons.
big names. I can understand why they would have targets
Yeah.
on their back. That's fair to say. I think that obviously regional rivalries are something that kind of play a factor as well, right?
Yeah.
EMEA is kind of rife of this, not supposed really because of like how the results stack up, but because of the way in which the players move. Over in CIS, for example, Twisted Minds, some of them filter down in towards, of course, where Na'Vi is. They were able to bring on some of the young guns, and the Nemesis is in a position where it's literally everybody was on Na'Vi before.
Well, whenever we look at PUBG, right, it's a lot of people that have to just scrim to try to get everybody together. So everybody does kind of get to know each other. It's just a little bit of like, I guess, individual rivalries that kind of stack everything together.
All right, well, thank you very much, Matt Trim. It is time to get into our next game. Let's head over to the commentator team for our next game.
Welcome back, friends. We have one game in the books, and Na'Vi got the win, but it was the T1 show to kick off our day here. Now we are done with Erangel for now, and we're heading over to Tego. I'm Porosaurus. Joining me once again is Avenger, and not a bad way to start off the day.
Oh, what a way for T1 to do that. Show their aggression, show the confidence, and show the dominance from the get-go. And yeah, as you say, it's time to take
It's time
Bro. And it is. And we're going to be having, of course, this game and 4 more after it. So if they've got 5 more chances, Poro, to make the most of it. And right now, yeah, sure, Myth have put themselves into that first place. And it did feel like a lot of the teams were a little bit scared to face them because there's just no point to fight these guys. They're going to throw everything they have at you because they're already qualified and already going to that final. As we go from the western side to the east, and you see right now, you said 64 players before. All right, right now, half of them look nervous. The other one look content.
I mean, for good reason that some of them should be nervous and content. Yeah, I mean, look, Myth obviously didn't get a win last game, but you saw them looking dangerous.
Right.
Like, it was 5 kills. They just happened to run into the buzzsaw of T1. They look like they have not dropped a beat since yesterday so far. We'll see how the rest of their day plays out. They are very close. I think that's Myth. That's very close to Team Liquid right off the drop here. Yeah, that is. That's them right on top of each other. So wasn't expecting to see any early hot drops, but we might get to see just that. Team Liquid still have a lot of work left to do here. So they do not want to take the risk here of going out early.
It's going to be fun. I mean, Liquid
not
and
the
Myth.
team you want to run into, though, if you're Liquid.
I mean, both of them did announce that they're going to go book Sansa. So, with Liquid's last game, they're like, okay, that's enough. Let's have some fun with it. Let's see if we can lock this down here. And maybe, sure, and then that's what we want for the finals. Myth is a funny team to go up against, though. So, if that team goes out, if Myth goes out early or Liquid, that means that the top end teams that historically throughout the game so far, they're not going to get any, so there might be more points on the board for our mid-pack and lower-pack teams, Pro. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see how they approach this with a Western Circle 50-50 bet to go north or south. That's historically been fantastic games because we actually have quite the entries to go on multiple bridges here in Tego.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, you obviously got a lot of competitive experience. When you see a circle like this, that is 50-50.
Right.
How much of a priority do you put on playing just along the coast versus just throwing all your chips either north or south based off of what you've seen circles do before?
Right now, with land ratio not being in effect here, we can still have the circle basically still having water in phase 4. It's not going to go away from it. So just focus on you either having an exit plan for either going north or south, depending on where. But also, a big focus is if you're close to the water and have a great spot for that, you could get a lot of kills. Like, you could just not care at all about winning the game, but getting those, 8 to 10 and sometimes 12 kills, as we saw Twisted Minds doing their day 1 without any placements, that's going to be enough. If you can back 10 points from just kills, you're fine. But again, if you can set up in a situation where, like a Nemesis or a Genji that have, somewhat easy entry into this circle here, you would want to lock down spots that's close to the bridge where you're also able to get out of your compound without being held. So that's really what I'm looking at here. For 17, though, they are in Terminal. They have a Twisted Minds that's hungry around them, looting the classic Twisted Mind split here on Tego. So that's what I'm really looking at. So Team Liquid, they escape from Book Sansat. They did not want to go face-to-face with Myth. Again, no point here. Like 52 points.
No.
With more games to go, it's going to be enough for them. But again, as I said earlier, these games are your best possible practice for you to prepare for our final game. So I understand you want to make the most of it. Get as many fights in as possible. As we see here, though, Vicious, we saw them yesterday, Polar. I was expecting some from them with Tycon, with Dogmai, with these guys on the team, but I did not expect that much. And right now they're in 14th place with 45. They could easily make their way into that final.
Yeah, it was a heck of a day for Vicious yesterday. Starting things off, and look, Team Liquid 4 deep in the U.S. right now. I don't think wants to get involved with anybody, but they may end up getting involved with Vicious. Now, this is another question, right? With a circle like this, if you are a team like Liquid or Vicious or Falcons, where you're very, very far away from that initial zone, do you slow play it? I mean, do you just kind of come in with the zone or even eat a little bit of blue just to see what that next circle decides to do?
I mean, that's exactly the problem. When you're so far away, you have no information ahead of you. You don't know if any of the compounds in, so you have to get in and you have to try to get space or be prepared for the worst possible, right? So even if the circle goes west or north or even stays on either side of the water, you're going to have a plan. How do you want to approach it? And when you're getting in this late, it's going to be absolutely different. Jedi, though, on the other side here, he's going to be able to get some presence. Full 3 gear. He left the gun behind, so we might be able to check out what that is. But on Teiko here, it's not just, it's like Santa. He crashed, and now all the presents are coming out. And he left an arm.
Oh, my.
So that's a bit of a surprise, but usually
somebody else likes that.
It's very designated for 1 or 2 players on the team to be playing those bold actions here. But he left it behind, so let's see who ends up grabbing that. But that's a strong gun, obviously.
That feels like a Tanawat gun, if I'm being honest.
That could be it for sure.
Tanawat or maybe Earth.
Earth Louis could be too, yeah. Now, another absolute fantastic situation here for Liquid. They're going to be able to come in and loot Song and late, and then be late to the circle coming in here. Now on board with Gustav, the newest edition of Falcons. They're going to be coming in slow from airport. Now shots come in, though, from Twisted Minds in 17.
Takes the tire out and causes them to spin out, but not actually. I think might have thrown off the seat swap spray, but Perfecting's now all by himself, and he is going to get hunted down. When will take him out, and that'll be a point secured for 17 as Twisted Minds once again lose a player early. But it looks like the rest of Twisted Minds actually want a piece of this. They're going to continue to collapse. They're all in vehicles. That might just be them positioning, making sure that they can get that ship.
Yeah, definitely trying to put some pressure onto them so they don't steal it away and just run for it. Yeah, of course, 2 teams that's extremely close to each other. That's going to delay both of them, and that might mean that a team that's coming in later than them from the same side, like Falcons, could run into them. Now here with 4AM coming in, a lot of teams actually end up rotating in from the south to the southwest side here, so they could also be running into each other. R8 ahead of 4AM. They're going to be getting inside the circle and somewhat betting on a southern shift here. It looks like they're not looking for more information further ahead inside that circle.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of our teams are betting on the south. Now, obviously, off to the east is where it gets confusing because you got Twisted 17 and Falcons.
Right.
They may commit to going north, but currently on the island, we just have T1, JDG, Genji, and Geek. So everybody else that started on the mainland, that started on the south side, is elected to stay there. But Twisted Minds 17 Falcons all going for this same bridge over by Yongchong. Right now, Lu leading the way as looks like 17 will spot them off in the distance and pull away. So, yeah, now that Twisted has made their way across and put themselves in good camping position, I think maybe 17 is saying, like, maybe not. Maybe we just kind of hang around here on the periphery and wait and see what this second circle decides to do.
Yeah, exactly. And now with Falcons here, again, looking for information as Vicious is quite literally rotating into the circle and towards the circle. And Power might to have a little bit of help here. Simon comes back. Now shots come in towards them. It's Sharper. They're putting on some pressure on them. They want to disengage and get away from this area here as the swamp area is. It's a very, very vile area to drive through. And now they might tangle up with 4AM.
And remember, Sharper is sitting on all those big boy guns, too, from the care package drop. So Vicious, smart to just get in the vehicle and get on out. But Tanawat right up at the top, but it is going to force them into 4AM. As you said, Spaceman seat swapping, not going to matter. Powell will land the shots, gets the knock, and now a lot of damage being done on the window, but he'll find Simon T. Spaceman gets flushed out. Powell is down. 4AM fully committed to this fight with Vicious, and Sharper has to see this in their kill feed and think we can get some more points off of this. Let's get involved.
That's so unfortunate for 4AM getting knocks, but don't get the points. Shen gets found by Jedi. 4AM on a lot of pressure. Winda, it's a meme. Can they make something happen here? Can they move in and get the reses off. I doubt it. Sharper, look at that. Another, and an MK14 in the hands of Thunder. Tons of big damage is being done. A headshot takes Winter out.
Oh, just unfortunate timing all the way around for 4AM.
Oh!
Shin will get picked out of that passenger seat by Tanawat. As we said, the Alm did go to Tanawat. So there we go. Now we know who has
You know what you're
Alm
talking about. That's
Prio.
great.
Now we know who has Alm Prio when it comes to Sharper. Well, the new circle has popped, and it is not 50-50, but it is a lion's share on that northern side. So already, while that fight was going on, a number of our teams that were on the south have made their way up to the north. It looks like Twisted, Falcons, and 17 were able to avoid each other for now, but 17 have made their way across by the fishing camp, and they're already getting shot at by Na'Vi.
17 sending it quite deep here in a central location. This West Palace kind of area has a lot of areas to play here. There's so many rocks, there's so many high grounds, there's so many compounds where you can accommodate. 17 is trying to find a home.
A few shots being sent over their direction by T1, and that's going to force them to get back on the move as they were already kind of shepherded by Na'Vi. They've lost tires. They've taken a lot of damage onto these vehicles. Looks like Xiao Wu is just going to stop down. The rest of 17 will group up just off to the south. Meanwhile, a number of teams getting very close to each other here on the south side. Myth and Liquid, actually Myth and R8 rather, are going to be scrapping right on the coastline. Baron, the point man, he is surrounded currently, and he's going to go down to Aimbot.
That's a very unfortunate situation for Myth here, but then again, R8 don't care. They need everything they can get. Currently last place, 13 points. Nade straight towards Scabby, 39 damage, and a BRDM pull-up from Empty.
The BRDM working huge here for R8. He's going to be able to spot him out as nothing else and let him know that he is by himself. But range shots from Jacob will take down Aimbot. He's doing his best to defend his teammate, but only one down now for R8 as they continue to kind of hover around here. But Liquid has seen this in the kill feed. They hear it going on just off to their east. They're going to try to get everybody back together, but they do have Gam taking shots at Alo.
Alo goes down to Clarice, or PGC 2024 MVP. Clarice might be able to flush that out as well. A little bit unfortunate for Team Liquid. They are disengaging from it as well, so Gam will be picking up that point and putting themselves on 51 points. And now T1 lost the end. They've been playing greedily about it. Our next circle popped, and we're going to have a Palace proper ending. The question is, do we end inside or on the ridges and edges and high ground around it?
Right on top of Palace, Na'Vi currently kings of the Palace. Nobody else in there. You see Falcons kind of hovering around on those hillsides just off to the east. The rest of the teams on the west side going to be running into each other. But this is very dangerous terrain to fight in over here on the west, as I mean, they can get right on top of each other before you see them. You see Genji already taking shots from Nemesis, and now JDG also paying attention to him.
Wang F going down. It might be the pink hair that everyone sees for an easy. Oh my God, the double flip. Are these guys skaters or something like that? Oh, well played.
Little THPS3 in there. I love
Yeah,
it.
sure. Purdy get some shots. Gets Nanawat down. Jedi, though, returns the favor. And Jacob, third parties, Earth Zapalui, Sharper, taking a lot of damage. And now Utilities being thrown towards Team Liquid.
And Cowboy trying to do his best to at least secure the point before they go down. But Thunders will spot him before he's able to do that. Tanawat down to half HP, but he's on multiple knocks now. He's going to have to get revived as Sharper just in the right place at the right time. Once again, Luke 12 all by himself, and he's doing some damage. We'll take down our Zapalui. Tanawat still not res. Jedi will be in the 1v1, and he'll get it. Thunder will get the credit with the grenade, but Sharper, with all of their utility, all of their presence that they picked up from that care package earlier, down to just 2.
Sharper on their first day was looking great. 7 kills,
yeah.
38 points. Sure, they're still outside that top 16, but if they continue this, doesn't look great, though. Gam with that pull-up, they're trying to get so much pressure onto R8. I don't think they realize they have a Panzer. Clarice finds 2.
Gam saw this coming. They saw the BRDM in the water. Came over here as fast as possible with that Panzerfaust in hand. Get the double knock immediately, but MP will trade it back. Kiss now getting involved from range. Teddy, the last player left alive, and he is only alive by the grace of that BRDM. Gam still on that high ground. Will keep those smokes alive so they can maybe get the res onto Duck Juice. But Kiss finding damage and getting points for Myth from the south side in the blue.
He just stole 3 of what the kills were supposed to be Gams. And what a way to capitalize on that from Myth. Falcons also sneaking in on the outside, and now we see Nemesis rotating in on the southern side of JDD. They're trying to put pressure onto them. Stead crashed out. He lost his car now. He's going to have to make a run for it. He's outside the blue as the zone moves in. The other guys are taking damage. Soset down to just 25 HP. Shot comes in as well.
Oh my goodness.
It just got 1 tick. 4AM is out meanwhile from Tycon, but that's going to be rough. State's going to have to use everything to try to get in.
Boy, Sosa just getting in just before that blue zone tick came through. Instead, let's keep on running. Should be okay, I think. Yeah, nobody on the south side really looking over in this direction. JDG can't see him, so we should see him be able to arrive once again as Myth on 92 points overall. Last year, our group stage winner was Rock with 105. Myth in a perfect position to smash that record.
Absolutely.
As we see JDG now repositioning once again. There's a fight going on in the north with DK and Twisted, while Sosed is eyes on Sharper. Jedi is taking a boatload of damage off in the blue as they're going for the revive station and fishing camp. So Sharper really like what they've got going on so far and want to continue the party as they've already got 8 kills.
So much base on the northern side. A lot of the teams just are forced to fight on the south and western side.
Tycon down there in fishing camp as well. I think he sees this and we'll try to take him by surprise. Meanwhile, let's worry about the people that are inside the zone. Genji trying to do there it was. Tycon got spotted out by Thunder, so it looked like Tycon was trying to be the sneaky one, but Thunder's will spot. Good work by him.
And Diffix finds Jedi as well as Nemesis trying to make some space on the southern side there. Inevitably going to be forced to try to fight either JDG as Navi is also taking shots towards him. Makes no sense to try to push Palace even though it's in, but we'll see how aggressive Navi plays this one out here. They see heads, they see actually the head of a PGC 2022 winner with a former Navi player on Melman.
He's got
the Georgian superstar. Yeah, he's got a mortar. Have to make some. It looks like he's making space for himself alongside that ridge. That's actually so smart, Poro.
Let's see where it lands. Yep, he's not aiming at anybody. He's just trying to create, as you said, some divots for them to play in and try to keep those cars alive, try to keep those tires up, and they're going to send it immediately over in that direction, and that is a nice little spot for them to camp down in and hunker down in for the time being. And they'll immediately have to retreat as you see Boostic and Hackatory on that northern side. Now, Navi do have friends in Palace. They do have the last couple of duos here from Myth and Gam. Maybe not friends, a little bit more aggressive neighbors. Hopefully they'll remain passive-aggressive neighbors right now, because if Myth and Gam start getting active, that might cause problems for the yellow. Oh, goodness. The exploding vehicle will be the thing that takes down the duo of Melman and Stade.
And you know what? That was actually a great play from Nemesis. The problem is they did it where most of the teams were located. If they did this on the southern side, there's 8 teams looking at them. If they did it on the northern side, there would be 2. So that's so unfortunate. But yeah, 17. They come back from what was a rough day yesterday to just absolutely fracking out today, Poro. So I'm very impressed with how they've been able to play so far today in these 2 games we've been witnessing.
Looking good so far, and now they're looking good once again with that circle pop, as they are about as close to dead center as anyone. Gen G trying to make their way in from that western side. Will run into Lou, last player from Twisted Minds, and Lou will get 1. We see JDG trying to see if they can finish off the last bits of Nemesis. Twisted Minds will go down as T1 still has angles onto all of this. They have a compound